This is online job applications with some advice and some tips to stand out. Remember that the online application is often your first opportunity to get noticed in your job search. It's not like a resume, which has only what you want the employer to know. The application is the information that the employer needs to know. Most every application is pretty much the same. So you'll want to collect all of your information ahead of time and have it handy. Have all of your previous work history, all of the phone numbers, addresses, references, contact information in front of you so you can get through the process more quickly. Make sure you complete it fully and truthfully. Don't lie on your application. And think ahead of time who you want to use as your references. The application is often your first chance to make a good impression on the employer, so make sure that it's perfect. Make sure your spelling, your grammar, your punctuation, and abbreviations are correct, and capitalization. On the application, you generally will have to put in your contact information, your name, address, phone number, and then you get into the work experience section. How far should you go back? Well, usually the application will tell you how many jobs to go back or how many years to go back. If it doesn't, generally if you go back 3 or 4 jobs or 10 years, that should be sufficient. If you have jobs that maybe you stayed at for only a very short time, you may want to leave them off if that doesn't create too long of a gap. If you work through a temporary agency at several places, use the temporary agency as the employer, which will give you a longer tenure with that employer. In the question about reason for leaving a job, don't use terms like "I quit." If you left for another job, say that. If you were let go from a job, you can talk about those in the interview. Some other things to remember on the work experience section. They usually have a box that says, "May we contact?" You only want to check that no if you're currently working and you don't want them to call your current employer. Make sure your information is accurate, including the names of your previous supervisors. You'll have to explain gaps in your work history. If you were unemployed, just write a brief period of unemployment or job search or something to that effect. If you left to raise a family, you can put that in there. In Illinois, employers may not ask about previous pay rates. So if that's asked on an online application, you can either leave it blank or write in NA. Include all of your job duties where it asks, even if you are attaching a resume. Use the job posting to get the vocabulary and pick the keywords that you want to use in this section so that you're likely to make a match. For education, if you're a college graduate, put in your institution and your degree. If you have some college but didn't finish, you can put in the college, where you went, the number of credits you completed. Or if you have a high school diploma or GED, just put in where you entered that, where you received it. Some application may ask about hobbies or other interests. If those are relevant to the job you're looking for, put them in. But always remember that certain things may be some more controversial than others, so be cautious. For references, your best references are former supervisors or coworkers. But always remember to ask them before you use them. Don't surprise somebody by being your reference. Look over the application. Don't leave anything blank. If it doesn't apply to you, put in NA. And make sure that you check your spelling, check your grammar, check your punctuation. Remember, this application needs to be perfect. It's your first chance to make a good impression, so make it count.